We wanted to put together an extended version of this story to go more in depth with the people we interviewed and the experts, the geologists who are studying these landslides and report so far more than 2,000 across western North Carolina.
It was like 5 seconds standing there looking out at the window, and I saw a massive, like what I would call like a large tsunami of water and mud and rock. And then the largest tree I've ever seen, roots and all, like coming towards the building I was in.
I want y'all to all just watch where they're standing. You're gonna want to actually lean back and give tension on the rope. It's gonna help you balance.
My squad was separated between 2 separate cabins. I was in the first one, so the one like closest to the top of the hill. Now that cabin is absolutely destroyed.
Our VP of programs, Elodie Covert, called me and she said, Jimmy, we have a group of volunteers that are college kids doing their world tour. They're staying in these 2 cabins. There's a lot of trees. Let's go ahead and move those kids to the dining hall.
Right as I was running into the larger room that was like connected to the room I was in, that is when it all hit the building. And I remember the entire building, I mean, loud crashing, shaking, the entire ground was moving. I think everybody that was with me said the same thing, that we did think that we were all going to die that day. I will say that the Lord actually protected us so much.
County officials and state officials, and they said they haven't seen anything bigger than this. It's about 100 foot wide in many places, 4,000 foot long from the top of the mountain all the way down to the end. It blew up this building, took 4 buildings above they're completely gone. Mud just coming through here. It's almost like somebody took their hand on the side of the mountain and just raked it out, and all the debris is down here. You're looking at about $4 million for the dining hall and at least $120,000 to $150,000 for each one of these buildings. We, like many people, didn't have flood insurance. Why would you have flood insurance when you're on the side of a mountain? And a landslide is considered flood damage. Last year we helped 172 kids, so they called this place home. And those are abused, neglected, or abandoned kids from all over western North Carolina. A lot of our kids, this is their first chance at life.
What do you want them to know? Do you need help? What do you say to anyone hearing the story about the boys' home?
We desperately need help. This is part of the damage that we have sustained.
There is a sense of calm out here. It's extremely quiet. But when I look back, all I can think of is what this must have looked like with water pouring down the mountain, with people wondering if they were going to survive.
So you can see all the way up.
This whole valley is mapped as a landslide deposit on the NCGS maps.
In a place like this, with a slope like that above it, it's dangerous to have structures right along a channel.
As we're walking up, one of the things that we do is on our maps here, we can also sketch in the extents of these landslides so that they're part of the record and the inventory.
As we look at this in person, and as we compare this to what we see in our LiDAR imagery, it speaks to a history of events like this over a longer term than people have been here. And you can see this big brown scar coming down the side of the mountain. That's actually the debris flow that we've been looking at. The slide started right at the top of this little gully, and all of that material funneled down that small stream channel and then spread out onto this flatter land that the structures behind us here are sitting on. Up here from the top, and when I say the top, this is the very beginning point of slide that went all the way down to Shepherd Hills there. You can actually see the entire length of it with the camp where everything ended up.
The reason that we started this company was to help increase awareness of landslide hazards. It's been really hard for me to see all of the impact and not feel like, is there something I could have done more of? Is there more that we can do?
We know these types of events are becoming more common. That started to get more in focus in 2017 with Hurricane Harvey, in 2018 with Hurricane Florence down east. Seeing this event here is kind of a continuation of that pattern that we've been seeing recently. The Gulf of Mexico was record hot this summer, and so that was providing fuel both for the hurricane itself and also for all that rainfall. So one of the things we understand really well with climate change is that as temperatures get warmer, there's more water vapor, more humidity in the atmosphere. And so that is leading to heavier rainfalls. All this heavy rain is happening on the side of a mountain that may not be stable to begin with.
Clearly, the water came rushing down with the debris and came right onto your house that's down there.
I would imagine it had to be moving at 50, 60 miles an hour, something like that. I mean, you just look at it, that house is blown up. My name's Steve Hayo. When my wife and I decided to retire, we'd had years up here as kids and growing up, coming to North Carolina, and we wanted a place in North Carolina when we retired. The red roof is our primary residence. The black roof was the guest house and the shop. You can imagine that this was a pretty sizable part of what we had put away for years. I mean, you think about it. This is 50 years of buying houses, building equity, moving to another house, selling in Orlando and buying this property. That's still my home, and I need to get rid of it. I need to get the image of it out, and that's where I'm at right now. I've signed up for all these programs. We still need active participation from anybody in the county or the city that can help with trying to clean this place up. But it's not done. I mean, this is just like it was on September 27th. It's not changed a lick.
We appreciate you watching all the way to the end of this piece, and if you feel moved or you have the resources to help anyone in our story, from the Black Mountain Children's Home to Steve Hayo and his wife here in Laurel Park, we will put their information at the bottom of this link, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch. Reporting from Henderson County, Kimberly King, News 13.